I wait for this world to change. Seems like forever it's all the same. Kept inside your castle, a broken dream. Never saying that you're made out of me.
okay, my art is everlasting. I will always have it. Watch us work, that's the machines and microphones like magic. The number of possibilities is outstanding. You can literally give life to anything you can imagine. That's why I'm taking it with me. Well, let me put the ink on my neck and my back and my chest and my thumbs to my pinkies and bring my thoughts to life. Let my art glow. Tattoo machine, horn, microphone, doesn't even matter. It's all an art form. The only thing that live forever is whatever we created. And that's why everything we do should always be the greatest. The people want to stand in this everlasting hate. That's why I keep going back every time I need a new piece. We couldn't rock. I head over to the shop, open up their head and doors, say what's up. Walk up to the stairs to the third floor. Asked if they could sketch this. They said that's what I'm here for. I said good cause I need it. Now let me be seated. The needle therapeutic, and even though I barely feel it, the pain is a reminder that I'm still breathing. So I ain't even leaving till this piece is completed. In fact, I might stay a little longer to get a new piercing. We are all artists regardless of what you do. Bring out the artist in you. Come to everlasting ink for a new tattoo. I know piercing or a photo shoot. It's whatever you choose. We're painting pictures and the canvas is you.
What makes an artist a talent in the description of a beautiful picture laid in my skin? It's an addiction, my prescription. Everlasting ink inside my system. So anytime I hit the shop, I really can't resist them. He grabbed a sheet of paper, then picked up a pencil. Together we thought of a concept and turned it to a stencil. Picked up his machine and the man started going mental. I love the way you hurt, so smooth, so gentle. I got it tatted in Nova Scotia, that's the place that I was born. I tatted a tree of death for all my homies dead and gone. And all I'm seeing now to find the place that I belong. I feel about the music every time I write a song. When the needle hits the skin, it's a fatal fascination. Expression of my thoughts, permanent imagination. Give a man some space, this requires concentration. Vivid images, immediate animation. Yeah.
We are all artists.
Yeah.
I'ma let this art on my arms glow brighter than the sunshine. Because there's nothing like a little painter money and they still alive. I should really get a job here.
tattoos represent more than what meets the eye, as in the case of the simple semicolon tattoo. People first chose to tattoo semicolons on their bodies after a mental health awareness campaign launched back in 2013 called Project Semicolon. Amy Blewell started the nonprofit as a way to honor her late father, who had committed suicide 10 years prior. See, a semicolon is used when an author could have opted to end their sentence but chose not to. In other words, it symbolizes the personal strength needed to keep living despite internal struggle. Now, people wearing a semicolon tattoo are showing their support of those dealing with self-harm, addiction, and suicide, or to represent the loss of someone due to suicide. Blewell hopes the semicolon symbol, which has become a social media trend, will encourage people to keep going in life. According to the CDC, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. For Newsbeat Social, I'm Cambry Caldwell.
Thinking of getting a tattoo? Decorating your birthday suit would add another personal story to a history of tattoos stretching back at least 8,000 years. Tattooed mummies from around the world attest to the universality of body modification across the millennia, and to the fact that you really were stuck with it forever if your civilization never got around to inventing laser removal. A mummy from the Chinchorro culture in pre-Incan Peru has a mustache tattooed on his upper lip. Otzi, mummified Iceman of the Alps, has powdered charcoal tats along his spine, behind his knee, and around his ankles, which might be from an early sort of acupuncture. The mummy of Amunet, a priestess in Middle Kingdom Egypt, features tattoos thought to symbolize sexuality and fertility. Even older than the mummies, figurines of seemingly tattooed people and tools possibly used for tattooing date back tens of thousands of years. Tattoos don't have one historical origin point that we know of, but why do we English speakers call them all tattoos? The word is an Anglophonic modification of tatau, a Polynesian word used in Tahiti, where English Captain James Cook landed in 1769 and encountered heavily tattooed men and women. Stories of Cook's findings and the tattoos his crew acquired cemented our usage of tattoo over previous words like scarring, painting, and staining, and sparked a craze in Victorian English high society. We might think of Victorians having Victorian attitudes about such a risque thing, and you can find such sentiments in even bans on tattooing throughout history. But while publicly some Brits looked down their noses at tattoos, behind closed doors and away from their noses, lots of people had them. Reputedly, Queen Victoria had a tiger fighting a python, and tattoos became very popular among Cook's fellow soldiers, who used them to note their travels. You cross the Atlantic? Get an anchor. Been south of the equator? Time for your turtle tat. But Westerners sported tattoos long before meeting the Samoans and Maori of the South Pacific. Crusaders got the Jerusalem cross, so if they died in battle, they'd get a Christian burial. Roman soldiers on Hadrian's Wall had military tattoos, and called the Picts beyond it Picts for the pictures painted on them. There's also a long tradition of people being tattooed unwillingly. Greeks and Romans tattooed slaves and mercenaries to discourage escape and desertion. Criminals in Japan were tattooed as such as far back as the 7th century. Most infamously, the Nazis tattooed numbers on the chests or arms of Jews and other prisoners at the Auschwitz concentration camp in order to identify stripped corpses. But tattoos forced on prisoners and outcasts can be redefined as people take ownership of that status or history. Primo Levi survived Auschwitz and wore short sleeves to Germany after the war to remind people of the crime his number represented. Today, some Holocaust survivors' descendants have their relatives' numbers tattooed on their arms. The Torah has rules against tattoos, but what if you want to make indelible what you feel should never be forgotten? And those criminals and outcasts of Japan, where tattooing was eventually outlawed from the mid-19th century to just after World War II, added decoration to their penal tattoos with designs borrowed from woodblock prints, popular literature, and mythical spiritual iconography. Yakuza gangs viewed their outsider tattoos as signs of lifelong loyalty and courage. After all, they lasted forever, and it really hurt to get them. For the Maori, whose tattoos were an accepted mainstream tradition, if you shied away from the excruciating chiseling in of your Moko design, your unfinished tattoo marked your cowardice. Today, unless you go the traditional route, your tattoo artist will probably use a tattoo machine based on the one patented by Samuel O'Reilly in 1891, itself based on Thomas Edison's stencil machine from 1876. But with the incredibly broad history of tattoos giving you so many options, what are you going to get? This is a bold-lined expression of who you are, or who you want to appear to be. As the naturalist aboard Cook's ship said of the tattooed Tahitians, everyone is marked thus in different parts of his body, according maybe to his humor or different circumstances of his life. Maybe your particular humor and circumstances suggest getting a symbol of cultural heritage, a sign of spirituality, sexual energy, or good old-fashioned avant-garde defiance. A reminder of a great accomplishment, or of how you think it'd look cool if Hulk Hogan rode a rhino. It's your expression, your body, so it's your call. Just 2 rules. You have to find a tattooist who won't be ashamed to draw your idea. And when in doubt, you can never go wrong with Mom.
Hey folks, my name is Matt Victor, and I'm a tattooist at Tribal Rights Tattoo in Westminster, Colorado. I've been tattooing about 20 years, and today I'm here for About.com, and we are going to discuss how to manage tattoo pain. Often the most painful part of getting tattooed is the very first line. Soon you get used to it. Some clients say they get numb. Some clients even fall asleep. But mostly you get used to it. Trying to go to another place, if you're lucky enough to be in a shop that has a stereo or a television, something to take your mind off it and focus elsewhere, the pain really isn't that terrible. Deep, controlled breathing will help you to deal with the pain, and again, try not to focus on it. I'll find that people want to have something in their hands, be it a teddy bear or a squishy toy, or even holding the hands of someone that they've come to get tattooed with. I often find that doesn't really work as well as television or something to listen to or even a book to read. Squeezing on something really does make you tense up and focus a little more on the pain. Makes it harder on yourself and your tattooist. I also don't recommend the use of NSAIDs such as ibuprofen or aspirin because they often tend to thin the blood and that defeats us getting ink in the body. Staying away from alcohol, not drinking before a tattoo, trying to stay away from it for a couple of days before you get tattooed are definitely going to be easier on you and the artist because you won't be bleeding as much and you won't be defeating the ink from going into your skin. New tattoo clients have heard of others passing out early on in the tattoo, and that is a phenomena that usually will happen in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and that's due to low blood sugar and the fact that your body releases adrenaline and natural painkillers called endorphins. Suddenly you may find yourself dizzy, sweating, seeing gray, and it's good to stop the tattooist right then and there and get some more sugar in your body. So once your tattoo is wrapped and finished, it's okay to have a drink, have an ibuprofen. The pain, I'd say it only lasts for a couple of days. It's sort of a rite of passage, and you earn your tattoo with the pain you experience. Thanks for watching, and if you need any more information, please visit us at about.com.
art form that's been around for thousands of years and shows no sign of slowing down. If you don't have them, chances are your friends, or at least your favorite barista does. Tattoos. This week, we're all about that ink, so think carefully about what you want on your body permanently as we tattoo some knowledge onto your brain. Thousands of years ago, when hipsters of that era were getting tattoos, many different ingredients were used for inks. Different colors came from ground-up natural products like copper, ashes, graphite, tree bark, and woad. Today, our inks have evolved. Quick fun fact, we still use so many different pigments for colors that if you have 2 different tattoos from 2 different places, there's a chance that ink in your right arm is made up of different stuff than that ink in your left arm. No matter what the ink ingredients are, it's a straightforward recipe. A solid pigment creates the color and is suspended in a liquid carrier. Liquid carriers can include any one or combination of the following: water, witch hazel, glycerine, propylene, and alcohols anywhere from ethanol to vodka to even Listerine. There's a wide variety of pigment ingredients too. Here's some of the different forms of blacks, browns, reds, greens, blues, violets, yellows, and whites. So, why are tattoos permanent? As you might know, skin cells live for about 2 to 3 weeks, but tattoos last forever. And if you've ever thought that tattoo on your inner lip will disappear after 6 months, well, you'd be dead wrong. It will never disappear. Alright then, to explain why tattoos are permanent, here's Rachel Feltman from the Washington Post's Speaking of Science. And conveniently, she's in the middle of getting a tattoo.
So right now, the tattoo needles, which have ink stuck between them, are puncturing my skin about 50 to 3,000 times a minute. They're going through the epidermis and into the dermis. And when they're making holes there, capillary action is actually drawing the ink down into the dermis. The tattoo becomes permanent when my immune system tries to save me from all of these wounds that I'm suffering. Basically, every time the tattoo needle makes a hole, microphage cells will start to go towards the wound to try to close it up. And because the ink is a foreign invader, the microphage cells gobble it up to try to get rid of it. But instead, those microphage cells with bellies full of ink get stuck in the gel-like matrix of the dermis. And they stay there pretty much forever, which is why the tattoo stays visible and permanent.
She makes it look so painless. So when your tattoo is brand new, the ink is in both the epidermis and the dermis layer of your skin. But as the skin heals, the wounded epidermal cells are shed and replaced with new ink-free cells. This is why your tattoo looks more vibrant before it's done healing. Your epidermis regenerates in about 2 to 4 weeks. Over time, tattoos will fade as the body's immune system slowly breaks down the alien pigment particles and the macrophages take them away to be destroyed. But for the most part, the ink will stay with you forever. Trust me. We'd like to give several shout-outs for people who've made this episode possible. First, we'd like to thank Fatty's Tattoos and the very talented Sabrina Elliott for her tattoo work. We'd also like to thank the Washington Post and Post TV for working with us on this video. For more information on tattoos, check out Claudia Aguirre's article and website. We've posted the links in the description below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any topics you'd like to see us cover, let us know right down there in the comment section, or hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. And hey, thanks for watching.
everyone should be equal. Everyone has a struggle. Life should be balanced. We're all connected. And this, I hope it starts a big change.
We're all different, and we're all beautiful in our own way. We should all be accepting, kind, standing together as one. We are all human.
I got this tattoo today just because I've experienced a lot of hatred in my life. I was assaulted by someone to this day that I still don't know who they are, just because of who I am and what I represent. We are all human. Sexuality, gender, all your religious beliefs and your faith, it doesn't matter. We are all human, we are all the same, and we are all equals.
I got this tattoo to symbolize the fact that we are all human beings. We all bleed the same color.
For me, this tattoo says we're all humans and we all make mistakes as well as fix them. We are all humans, we all are the same.